So I want to thank Ape, Architect Ape. I want to thank the Purple Foundation for having me here. It is an honor I do not take lightly. I do not take it for granted. So I said that I didn't recognize myself because barely 18 months ago, I was not doing what I'm currently doing. The level of growth I've experienced in the last 18 months tells you how powerful your mind can be when you make it up to do what God has called you to do. It's very important that on this journey that we are, you must take ownership of your life. If you do not take personal responsibility, you will be held accountable regardless of who is to blame. So today I want to share about wealth. Thank you for that clap, that was encouraging. So today I want to share a bit about, let me check my slides to be sure that I can see it from here. Is it up? Okay, all right. So the title of my topic today is called The Common Sense for Wealth. Common sense for wealth. When I started my journey, I really just wanted to be someone to talk about mindset, because I knew from experience that everything rises and falls on the quality of your mindset. I mean, even the Bible said you can't do anything if the foundation is destroyed, and the mindset is the foundation. So I chose to focus on mindset. But over time, why was I focusing on mindset? Because I wanted people to have a richer, wealthier life. And I decided to focus on how people can learn what it takes to become wealthy. Okay, so common sense way to wealth. What's common sense? Common sense basically is the most logical, most practical way to approach things, isn't that? If you heard that, okay, if someone called me up and said they were lost, and they called me to say, you invited me to your party, I want to find my way there, but I can't find my way. What would be the common sense thing to do? To ask a question, right? What would that question be? Where are you? It's so common sense, isn't it? But for some weird reason, when we want to apply principles to life, we don't stop to ask where we are. For you to be able to move forward, you must first identify where you are. Who are you? What is the circumstance around you? How does your mind work? What is your financial circumstance? What is your emotional or psychological circumstance? You must identify where you are. That is only when you can determine how far you want to go, how long it will take you to get there. So I'm just going to share a few quick tips. I have time running already. Should we all aspire to be wealthy? Can I get an answer? Yes. Why? Why? Because wealth is good, isn't it? But what we say and our body language usually does not tie. We say one thing, but our body language acts like we don't want to be wealthy. Because if we truly want to be wealthy, we will be able to identify it. Does Dangote go around announcing, I'm wealthy, I'm wealthy? Everything around him is speaking wealth. But we say we want to be wealthy. The reason why I put this there is because many times when we talk about wealth, we only talk about wealth, you know, as it relates to other people and how they are achieving wealth. We don't usually talk about ourselves in terms of being wealthy enough to leave wealth for 4 generations. If we talk about even wealth, people imagine that being wealthy means to buy a car and own a house and be able to fly the world. No, wealth is deeper than that. Real wealth is generational. So you must think about wealth for yourself. Stop thinking about wealth and discussing how the politicians are running away and then you call big amounts of money. You don't even imagine yourself with that kind of money. Okay, so all of us should aspire to be wealthy, right? So with too much wealth, change us. Do you think it will change us? Whenever I talk to people, do you want to be wealthy? Yeah, thank God I'm going to be wealthy. I just pray that wealth will not make me forget God. We are not serious. Haven't you heard people say that before? They want to be wealthy, but when you bring it to the fore, they act like, no, I'm a very virtuous person. I really just want enough for me and my family. Isn't that the truth? Wealth will not change. Do you think that wealth has changed Dangote? Has it made him forget God? Who else do you know that is truly wealthy? Truly, deeply wealthy. Does this sound like it identifies them? Do you think that the wealth that they have defines them? The only reason why you will think that wealth will change you is because you think that wealth defines you. Wealth will only tell us who you really are. It will not change anything. If you're already going to forget God, you needed an excuse, and you are going to get one if some small money enters your hands. So be very careful. So how crucial Okay, so I apologize for the spelling error. I did this on the run. I was hoping that they would notice the mistake. Yes, how crucial is belief to wealth? Sorry, I'm going to, as many of the speakers you may have observed, many of us are of the Christian faith, I'm going to also stick to that. So how crucial is belief? It's so powerful, your belief, that what you require to be saved is simply to believe. Belief is like the most potent weapon man has. Nothing God can do if you don't believe, no matter how powerful God is. So it's important that you address the belief systems that you have. And what is a belief system? That underlying deep persuasion that something you know is true. For example, a belief system can show up. We have the whole feminist thing going on around, right? So many people are politically correct and they support, we believe women should be empowered, blah, blah, blah. But then if you see a man who says that outside, but at home, he has body language that suggests that he doesn't really, his wife is too busy, she's too active, she's too independent, blah, blah, blah. That's a belief system speaking. Have you seen women who write goals year after year? They will not achieve the goals. Why? Because somewhere in their belief system, they don't believe a woman should be wealthy. It's a belief system. Every single block, every single cap you experience, especially when you've set out to achieve something and you constantly find yourself going around in circles, trace your belief system about that issue. Your belief system is that powerful. So powerful that God needs it to save you. So please don't play with your belief systems. Don't play with it. Recognize that we are already on the winning side. And if you don't believe something, you already believe the opposite. Whether or not you know it. If you don't believe in A, you believe in the opposite of A. There are no vacuums in nature. Neither are there vacuums in the realms of the spirit. So believe, check your belief system. Okay, so number one, now I want to just share a few quick tips. I'll try and rush them now. Get rid of the Messiah's complex. So we belong in Africa, right? And anytime we think in terms of wealth, we don't always think of only our immediate families. We think of our extended families, extended, and all that stuff. And then that puts a lot of pressure on anybody trying to emerge in a family as somebody who is going to be wealthy. Maybe the person has worked on his mindset, has, taken time to develop himself, and he is starting to emerge. Everybody else the gravitational pull will not even allow him climb up because he's expected to carry all the burdens of the great-grandfather on the in-law side and the other side. Abi, that's the peculiar nature of Africa. So one of the things you want to do is to properly draw boundaries around yourself. It's common sense. Common sense principles. You can't help everybody. Even Jesus didn't save everybody. He didn't gather the whole room and say, come, let me preach to you. What did he do? He identified key 12 people. He worked with those 12 and he said, in so many words, this is my own paraphrasing, go and find your 12. You find your 12 until we have a multiplier effect taking place. Do not think you can help. If you really want to make sense of this wealth that you have been opportune to know and have in your lifetime, get rid of the Messiah's complex. Messiah's complex keeps you carrying burdens that are not your own. You must identify it so that you can draw boundaries. Otherwise, you will drown. A lot of people who think they are wealthy are not wealthy. It's only surface deep. One sickness in a family, and everybody knows what is going on there. One sickness. Everybody knows that, they can't pay bills, so they can't pay the hospital bill. One sickness. Common sense. Common sense. Be separated. All over Scripture, be ye separated. Be ye separated from the righteous. And like Apel was saying, it means that don't mix with bad people, though good people shouldn't mix with bad. How do you know that you are a good person? How do you even know that you are not the bad person? Yes, because bad doesn't always show up as aggression. It can be so subtle. The devil comes in sheep clothing. So how do you know that what is good in your life is really bad? One of the key ingredients to really attaining wealth is to become separate, be very clear about who you are supposed to be separated from. Please don't play with it. Do not play with that opportunity. The purpose is locked in the challenge. The key to your wealth is locked in your challenge. The problems are the doorway to wealth. Africans spend 24 hours, 36 hours fasting against problems. They want wealth, but they pray against the source of wealth. We need to check ourselves. Okay? If the problem goes, so does the opportunity. So do not trick yourself into thinking you can pray your problems away. We nullify the power of God with the things that we do. Traditions that seem religious, that appear to be yielding results that do not yield anything. Check yourself. Okay? Snacks versus fufu. So we are feeding on many things today that can be likened to snacks. But we want to go out there and conquer the world issues that are feeding on fufu. Do you understand what I just explained? There are places where, as a third world African, you will go to. What you have been feeding on is cheese balls compared to what those people in that place that you are going to encounter are feeding on. So you must arm yourself with information. Don't even trick yourself into thinking you have what it takes. Begin to study as if you are afraid you are going to fail. Okay? Do not expose yourself to issues that, basically will expose what you do not know. You must arm yourself with information. So wealth is personal. I think I've already talked a little bit about this. The manner in which you acquire your wealth is different for everyone. There's a lot of follow-follow syndrome in Africa. You must be able to identify your journey to wealth. Abraham tried to carry his father, but at some point in the journey, he had to let the father go. He had to let Lot go. It's very hard truth, but wealth is personal. You can only build wealth enough when you have decided that it's a personal journey. Okay? Stop seeking village approval. You cannot become global. You cannot be global, not true. You cannot be global if your approval has to come from the village. Every single thing that you want has to be approved of by your old peers, your little friends, your friends from secondary school, your friends from university. This is Nigeria, but your audience is global. Stop seeking village approval. Become a skilled marksman. Everyone talks about David and how fantastic David did, isn't it? David just came, killed Goliath and all that stuff. What many of us may not be aware is that David was extremely skilled in shooting slings. He came from a village where they used to shoot slings with the right hand and the left hand. David was not your mate, too. He knew that he would kill Goliath. It's Goliath that didn't know that David was not his match. So before you go out there and start naming the name of God and destroying and pulling down strongholds, what skill do you have that is so powerful that can bring down a giant? Goals, you must attack that. You must build your skill up to the point that it will help you get to that giant. Otherwise, the giant will have you for food. It's been having Christians all over the place for food. If you want to stand out, you must ensure that you do not give your skill away. Develop your skill. Final point. The principles in this world, they all have doors. There's a single door that many of us try to open several doors with one key, prayer. But there are some keys that is not prayer, some doors that is not prayer that is the key. What door does your energy open? You are young, somebody else is not. Your energy is a key to open certain doors. What door does your intellect open? What door does your connection open? Recognize the different doors that your life can open, because different aspects of your life open different aspects of keys of wealth in this world. What you may use when you are young is not the same key you will use when you are in your 40s. So be aware of the keys that are going around and make sure you know which key opens which door. So your fight is different. Stop being careless with your battle. Some of you are comparing yourself to Adenuga's child, who is not a Nigerian citizen, who has options that have not yet been created for you. It's on your own shoulder that your next family, generational, whatever, will stand, and you are playing with them. They are eating what they are eating. You are dressing how they are dressing. Seriously? No, please. Your fight is different. If they walk for 2 hours, you walk for 7. If they dress like this, you dress harder. Be very aware. Not everybody is your mate. They look like your mates, but they are not your mates. Recognize that your fight is different. Please, know what you are supposed to do. Recognize recognize your unfair advantage. It can be that you are extremely friendly. It can be that you are tall. It can be that you are pretty. It can be that you know how to analyze very well. Recognize that advantage, because people will pay for it. People may not pay you to enter heaven, but they will definitely pay you to get out of hell. What is that hell? that they will pay you to get out of. Use your unfair advantage towards it. So every single thing you have is an unfair advantage. Okay? Recognize the price of success. Everything has a price. Everything has a price. The same woman who will do a PhD with teenagers is not the same price another woman will pay who has a newborn baby who is also doing the same PhD. Every single thing that you require has a price. Make sure that you pay the price to be successful. I hope I've shared some value here today. Thank you very much.